You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome once again to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and your heart's breaking. It's aching a little bit tonight. I know we're here to maybe ease a little bit of the pain and just talk you through it a little bit. You know, it's one of those nights where I might be a therapist and you might need to be laying down on a couch because the Marlins just lost one they should have won. The Marlins just did it in heartbreaking fashion. The Marlins had a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the ninth inning until Tanner Scott threw a slider just off the outside corner and just a little bit below the knees to J.D. Martinez, the 36-year-old, who smoked it over the right center field wall, and the Mets beat the Marlins 3-2. They walk it off in the series finale. They take the series 2-1, and now the Marlins will have to head to Washington, D.C. It's not going to be a fun flight. It's not going to be a fun trip after losing that game. Tanner Scott never blows saves, and it was just a walk, a stolen base, and a home run, and just like that, it's over. A brilliant performance by Roddery Munoz, a brilliant night by the, just too bad for the rookie. We will talk about that throughout the show. But the Marlins lose 3-2 in New York, and it's the series finale against the Mets. After winning the opener, they are unable to get one in the final 2 games. First of all, before we get going too far into the show, I want to thank you so much for being here, the day-by-dayers. You guys are here every day, and people just finding us. We love you, and we appreciate you making us your first listen. Locked On Marlins POSTCAST every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And tonight's show is brought to you by Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com. And you guys just saw it. The lights are going to do their own thing here. I don't understand what's going on, man. There's so much heat, too much electricity coming out of this that, we wore the teddy bear shirt tonight. I love this sweatshirt. Every time I wear this, it's a conversation piece. But yeah, big win for the Mets. And look, the Mets have won 8 out of 12. Believe it or not, that was the first career walk-off home run for J.D. Martinez. He has 321 career bombs. And yeah, unbelievable. And you know what? Both pitchers were great tonight. Let's start with that. The Marlins losing 3-2, just a really tough loss for this team. And, you had that one in the bag. They had some opportunities tonight. They had some incredible things that, that could have happened for them, and it just didn't go their way. And you look at it, overall, the Marlins and the Mets got great pitching tonight. And we have to start there when you're talking about this game. 3 home runs in the game, and that was really the difference offensively because neither team did all that well offensively. Now, the Marlins did end up with 8 hits, okay? They ended up with 8 hits, and 7 of them came off the Mets starter, Luis Severino. More on him in a moment, but a lot of zeros on the board. In fact, this game was scoreless through 5 innings. Munoz and Severino going at it. The Marlins had a big threat. I believe it was the 4th inning when they had the bases loaded. But we will take you through the play-by-play as well as the box. And, of course, you know how we do. We'll hit the recap in the end to let you know what we missed. If we missed anything, we'll get you ready for that next series against the Nats in D.C. And, man, it's unfortunate that they're going to be opening that series coming off a loss like this after the game that was pitched tonight by Munoz and the bullpen doing a good job. More on that in a minute. They melted down yesterday. And a tough one tonight. The Marlins bullpen unable to hold it for Munoz, the rookie, making only his 4th career start. How about that? Well, the Marlins didn't give him hardly any help offensively. Chisholm, De La Cruz, and Bell in the first inning. Fly out, ground out, ground out. And, of course, Severino keeps that ball down. Loves those ground ball outs. Bottom of the first, you could tell right away, Munoz, that slider working, had the heater moving all over the place. He started the game by hitting Francisco Lindor with a pitch, and then right away got Nimmo to bounce into the double play. Martinez flies to right. He'd been going the opposite way the game. And then Severino is cruising for the Mets. The Marlins able to get a hit in the 2nd inning, a 2-out infield single for Nick Gordon. But other than that, you get Gordon caught stealing, and Anderson leads off the next inning. More on TA in a minute. A second 2-hit game of the series for him. Munoz cruising. Alonso strikes out swinging. He walks Marte, who steals second, and then he strikes out Vientos. And then Torrens grounds out to third base. And then the Marlins in the top of the third, they get a couple hits. You're thinking, hey, maybe they're going to get a rally going against this dude Severino, former Yankee, by the way. Anderson singles to center. Remember, I said he had another 2-hit game. Lopez goes to right field, singles out that way, and Anderson goes to second. So 2 hits to start the inning for the Marlins, and you're thinking, hey, maybe they're going to get something going here. But Bethancourt can't get a bunt down. He made a nice catch in foul territory tonight, Christian did, but you know what, man? You got to get the bunt down. Sacrifice bunt. You have got to get it down. You can't hit. Bethancourt can't hit. You know what I mean? And if you can't hit, you have to be able to bunt. And the dude's hitting 140. He couldn't even get a bunt down. You know, I mean, it's just, you love the catchers. You love the way they call games. You love the defense. And you take what offense you can get for the most part. But, man, you got to get that bunt down. You got to get it down. And it's just, it's inexcusable in that position as a major league hitter to not be able to get the bunt down. So then Chisholm pops out to shortstop, and then De La Cruz grounds into the double, or to the fielder's choice, the DLC. And so you don't get the bunt down there in the third inning, and that would later really come back to haunt you. Bottom 3, Munoz keeps it going. McNeil flies out. Bader, and then Lindor lines out. Marlins in the fourth, you really thought that they were going to get something going here with Bell flies out to left, but then you get Sanchez doubles to right field, and then you get Berger who walks. So it's first and second, and then Gordon walks, and Severino is in trouble. You got the bases loaded with 1 out. Anderson grounds into the double play. On a night when he has 2 hits, this is when he grounds into the double play. Mets bottom 4, Nimmo, Martinez pops out. Alonso fouls out. So you're getting strikeouts, you're getting pop-outs, you're getting foul-outs, you're getting little dribblers. Munoz was on his game tonight. Severino in the 5th, the Marlins trying to get to him again. 2 outs. Chisholm reaches on a bunt single, steals second. De La Cruz walks. 2 men on again. Nope. Bell grounds out to second. Bottom of the 5th, 1-2-3 again for Munoz. Marte swinging. Vientos and Torrens ground out. Top of the 6th for Miami. They put one on the board with 1 away after Sanchez flew out. Jake Berger, Oppo, almost right down the line. Just a nice job with that opposite field home run. Makes it 1-0 Miami. Anderson with a 2-out hit, and they leave him on. Mets in the bottom of the 6th. McNeil grounds out. Bader singles, gets thrown out stealing, and Lindor lines out to left. That would be the end of the night for Munoz. And you know what? I can't stand it anymore. To second-guess managers when they take pitchers out. Pitchers don't go deep into games anymore. It is what it is, Jim. You're a relic. Anyway, I digress, but Munoz would be taken out after that. So in the top of the 7th, now remember, Munoz is still the pitcher of record, and it's 1-0 Miami. Well, not anymore. Chisholm homers to center, 426 feet. Crushed that one. Jazz with another good game today. It's 2-0 Miami, and what do? Right away, he goes and takes Munoz out. Now, I know he's a rookie, and I know he's had some issues, and I know there's a pitch count, and man, was he good tonight. I would not have taken him out. I'm sorry. I think that was a bad move to take him out. I said it at the time. I was throwing things, maybe not throwing things, but you know what I mean. Metaphorically speaking, yeah, Marlins top of the 7th. They took that lead. He takes Munoz out. Bender comes in, and just like that, he walks Nimmo. Leadoff walks, crucial tonight for the Marlins bullpen. More on that in a minute. But man, oh man, the leadoff walk always kills you. Martinez, there's that man again. Doubles to left. Nimmo goes to third. He had to kind of hold up a little bit or he would have scored on it. Alonso walks in first and second with nobody out. What are you going to do? Great job by Bender. He gets Marte to ground into the double play. Berger turns it from third to first. Yeah, you get a run scored by Nimmo, and then Faucher comes in and gets Vientos to ground out to short. So you had the bases loaded, right? The bases loaded with nobody out. And that's a great job by Bender and Faucher to get out of that with only 1 run. You get the double play and you get the ground out and you're out of that inning. You still have the lead, right? Not so fast. Anyway, Marlins top of the 8th, 1-2-3, ground out, strikeout, fly out, Sanchez, Berger, Gordon. Bottom of the 8th, Faucher, hey, he gets Stewart looking. McNeil lines out to center. Bader pops out to second. You're going, wow, this is cool. Then Edwin Diaz comes in the game. You remember him. He just came off the injured list, 15-day. It was a 10-day with the shoulder impingement. Yeah, right. He's more like up here after getting crushed. And their closer, who's amazing, right, overall, the Marlins had ripped them last time they faced them. Well, not tonight. Top of the ninth, he gets Anderson to ground out. Lopez strikes out swinging, and Betancourt grounds to short. Then in the bottom of the ninth, this is when the game would be lost with Tanner Scott, who's been great with 8 saves, probably the best Marlins player this year. If the Marlins had an all-star, a guaranteed all-star, he would probably be the guy, depending upon, who they pick in the positions and all that stuff. But he would be an all-star. Luis Arraez will be there. He's hitting .351 since they traded him to San Diego, but that doesn't count. Anyway, Tanner Scott comes in, and what happens? What happens right away? He walks the leadoff hitter, Francisco Lindor. Nimmo strikes out swinging, 1 away, and Lindor stole second. J.D. Martinez at the dish. A slider, low and away. It's just kind of dangling there. It was below the knees. It was off the plate a little bit. Great job of hitting by J.D. Martinez to just smash it right center field. It kind of reminded me of the way Mike Piazza used to hit those opposite field right center. Remember the fly ball that Piazza hit at the end of the World Series, the Subway Series that you thought might have a chance for a minute? How many home runs did Mike Piazza hit to right center field in New York, and kind of looked like that with J.D. Martinez? So J.D. Martinez walks it off. He already had the double that should have been an RBI double earlier in the game, and so there you have it. The Marlins lose this one, and they don't take this series in New York. They lost it 2-1 after winning the opener. Now they head to D.C. to face the Nationals. Look, before their little homestand against Tampa Bay and Cleveland, Tampa Bay owns them, and Cleveland's a really good first-place team. I remember just thinking, let them get 3 out of these 5. And then you have momentum coming in against the Mets. They had to win this game tonight. You're going to D.C., a chance to really make some ground up in the standings, and it's just been that kind of year for Miami. When we come back, we'll take a look at the numbers of this game. 3-2. Man, Munoz in the bullpen. Pretty good, the bullpen. Munoz was great tonight. Should they have left him in or not? That is the question. I think that Skip should have left him in the game, and of course, it's easy to say that now, and it'd be amazing, if I could know what's going to happen beforehand. That really helped me on FanDuel, right? All those things that you can do to get some action on the action, get prize picks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. We are very happy to have you with us every single night. Your Locked On Marlins postcast, making us your first listen/watch every day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And of course, tonight's episode of the Locked On Marlins postcast is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000, 1-800-549-1000, or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. You know what time it is, right? Every single night here on the show. We're going to give you the hookup. Holler if you hear me. We're the plug here for you with Locked On. Our sponsors are the best in the world. We have so many things that we can offer you through them, and they're just laying it on for you, man. Wait till I tell you what Prize Picks is doing for you in the month of June and overall. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. You know that, with more than 5 million users, right? 5 million members of Prize Picks. It's the most fun, exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and a shot to win up to 100 times your cash with Prize Picks. Maybe I can get an eye exam. That would really help. With Prize Picks, I don't even need to read it to tell you this, right? Prize Picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you are locked in and locked on with Prize Picks, right? Let's see. There it goes on me. Sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with me on this. If you're looking for promotions, and I was just telling you about the promotions that Prize Picks has. I was teasing it, letting you know what they're going to be, right? If you're looking for promotions, then Prize Picks has you covered there, too. Every week, they do things like lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays. increases your chance of getting a big win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. And for the month of June, there's always action on Prize Picks. And this is the perfect time to try out something new as basketball is winding down, really winding down after Luka's antics against the Celtics last night in Dallas. Make sure to try out esports this month, though, because for every Wednesday and Saturday in June, your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your money back, your entry fee. Choose from Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, League of Legends, and more. I made my first $10 deposit. I got an instant $10 bonus. If you have the skills, you can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000, just like I am. And how many did I say? Quiz time. More than 5 million members on America's #1 fantasy sports app, which of course is, ready? Quiz part number 2. Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's the Prize Picks app. Download it today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 from Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. And they're going to love me after that one. Prize Picks, of course, a proud sponsor of the show, as is Policy Genius. And anytime it has the word genius in it, you know what I'm saying. It's one word. It's Policy Genius. They're changing the dictionary. It is really a word. Policy Genius, just one word. Well, it's my word, and it can be your word too. No doubt about it. Life insurance gives you peace of mind, and life insurance gives you a lot more than that, especially when so much of what happens in life is unpredictable, right? Look at this weather right now. Are you kidding me? I mean, everybody's floating away, right? Grab 2 of every animal. It's Noah's Ark. A lot of life is unpredictable, but a good life insurance plan gives your family a financial safety net to protect against some of the unknowns. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 a month for $1 million in coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams as well. And obviously, I've done a lot with medical in my life. Life insurance is something I feel very strongly about. I have 3 kids myself. So one of the things that really helps me with Policy Genius is you can easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. That's right. Their award-winning agents can walk you through the process step by step. That's huge for me. I'm sure it is for you too. Your work life insurance policy might not cover everything. You might not have enough coverage. You always got to look into those things. You can check into that with Policy Genius. Remember, one word, Policy Genius as well. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job, and that would be the worst thing you could imagine. Policy Genius has no incentives, so they don't need to recommend one insurer over another. You can trust their guidance. That's huge. And they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs, just like they'll do for you too. So what are you waiting for, my friend? Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Locked On Marlins postcast rolling right along on your Thursday. Heading into the weekend, the Marlins heading to Washington, D.C., and it's not a fun trip right now. They dropped the series finale to the Mets to lose 2 out of 3. Come on out and not sweep the Mets. Well, the Marlins had the lead 2-1. It was 2-0 at one point. A brilliantly pitched game by Munoz, and, good job by Bender and Faucher to escape that jam with only 1 run in the 7th inning. And then, of course, Tanner Scott, which he never does. And it wasn't a bad pitch. It was a good pitcher's pitch. It was low and away. It was a slider, so it was coming back toward the plate. And it was one of those pitches that started so far outside, you're like, there's no way he's even going to see this or swing at this. But he was sitting dead red on it, you could tell. And Martinez loves to hit the ball the other way. He literally hit it the opposite way and almost took it off the dirt. Not quite. But, man, it was just crazy. So the Marlins snatched defeat from the jaws of victory yet again. I mean, you don't even want to think about what this year's been like when it comes to being snake bitten, right? But I'll tell you this. The Marlins, they're a tough team. They keep scratching. They keep clawing. They keep coming at you. And unfortunately for them tonight, man, and especially Munoz, the rookie, 4th career start, shuts out the Mets for 6th inning. The way he was pitching, he only allowed 1 hit. He had only allowed one hit, man. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you taking this kid out? Why? Why are you taking him out, Skip? I mean, very strict pitch counts are a thing. Injuries are a thing. They've had so many pitchers hurt. But this dude literally, I mean, look. Let me see this play-by-play right here, this game. We'll look this up. And I just want to see. Okay, hold on. No, wait a second. When did, Mets bottom of the... Yeah, they didn't get their first hit until the 6th inning, working on a no-no into the 6th. I just wanted to make sure it was the 6th and not the 5th. And then he takes him out. So you allow one hit with one out, and immediately the guy gets thrown out trying to steal by Betancourt, and Munoz hit the pitchers. They steal on the pitcher, not the catcher. So you get him right away, and then you get that line out. And I know you have 2, 3, 4 coming up, and I know there's a pitch count, but man, was he dealing. You had to let him get back out there. You had to give him that shot. You make him lose it himself if he's going to, especially there. It's not the 8th inning. He hadn't thrown 120 pitches. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, just a tough one. Munoz didn't get the loss. Scott gets the loss, but that's just a tough one, man. You got to let him go out there. He had the no-no broken up in the 6th inning. Meanwhile, real quick, before we continue too much deeper into the show, I just want to ask you one more question about your habits every single day and what you're doing. I'm looking at 4 things at once here, but every single day we have something awesome for you right here on Locked On. You already know we have your team. Locked On your team every single day. You already know we have the leagues, NBA, MLB, NFL. We have Locked On Sports Gaming. All those things coming your way. Hopefully soon, Locked On USC. Knock on wood, it's not wood. But anyway, point being, Locked On Sports Today is tremendous, man. It's free. It's 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And today's episode of the Locked On Marlins POSTCAST is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit TNUSA/LockedOn. We'll just real quick take you through some more of this matchup. And, of course, in the last segment, we'll look ahead to the weekend, and we'll also take a look at the recap of this game to see if I missed anything along the way in the postcast. A lot of fun being here with you every day. Of course, we're going to be doing the Dolphins and University of Miami football during football season. The Heat when hoops starts up again, and man, that season's about over. Luka Doncic, ooh baby, yeah. So not a good night for Luka last night, and not the way that the game ended anyway. And that one's looking like it's not going to go all that much longer. Speaking of that NBA Finals series. So you better get it in with FanDuel and Prize Picks and everybody now. Anyway, no score through 5. Munoz had a no-hitter through 6. And we'll start with the pitching because that's what this game was all about. First for the Mets, who got the win, Luis Severino, 7 hits, 1 earned run in 6 innings. Smith came in after that, allowed a home run, allowed Chisholm's home run. The Severino run was a home run by Berger in the 6th. He got a hook after 103 pitches. Munoz had only thrown 81 pitches. More on that in a minute. I'm disgusted by the fact that he took him out. And the bullpen's been really good this year, and I know you want to protect the rookie. I just don't like it. Anyway, so Smith goes an inning, struck out the side, but gave up the homer to Jazz. Reed Foley with a scoreless inning, and Diaz with a scoreless inning, who picked up the win to go to 2-1. Munoz, 6 innings. The rookie allows one hit. It's a single on 81 pitches. Strikes out 5. And he takes him out after 6 to bring in Bender, who goes 2/3 of an inning, allows a hit and an earned run. Faucher, an inning and a third. No runs, no hits, just a strikeout. And then Tanner Scott, in a third of an inning, gives up 2 earned runs on 1 hit and a walk. The walk-off opposite field home run from J.D. Martinez. Meanwhile, at the dish for the Mets, Martinez 2 for 4 with the 2 RBIs and the homer. Yeah, Only Harrison Bader got a hit, the number 9 hitter. Other than that, he singled in the 6th inning. So a single and a double and a homer for Martinez. Martinez with the double and the home run. He's the player of the game without a doubt. Meanwhile, Chisholm, the player of the game for Miami. All that jazz. 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI, including a home run. He's red hot right now, heading to D.C. De La Cruz 0 for 3. Bell 0 for 4. Sanchez 1 for 4. Berger 1 for 3 with a homer, the RBI, the run scored, and the walk. Anderson, another 2-hit game, and Lopez 1 for 4. The Marlins with 8 hits. They only walked 3 times, and they struck out. How many times did they strike out in this game? This is, you got to flip back and forth between the game cast and the box score to get the strikeouts. Where are we at here? The box score, did we get it? No, strange. They're in there every night, but it's not in here tonight. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened in this game. Without a doubt, the Marlins it's a tough one, right? You had the 2 homers. You had great pitching from Munoz. The bullpen worked out of that jam in the 7th, and you're like, yeah, Tanner Scott, we got this. But nope, it wasn't to be for the Miami Marlins as they fall. Once again, they lose 2-1. Or 3-2 rather, to the Mets in New York. 3-2, they had the 2-1 lead, and they lose 3-2. And that gives us a chance to let you know that we are going to wrap it up on the other side and get you ready for that series against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. We hit the recap first, let you know what we missed, or if we didn't miss anything right here on your Locked On Marlins postcast, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple Music, whether it's iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and of course right here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Let's hit the break. And here we are, just past tax season, which means, obviously, that if you haven't filed yet, you need to get that done. You're late, there's penalties, there's all kinds of things that can happen when you start messing around with the IRS. But here at Locked On Marlins Postcast, we pride ourselves. We give you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, whether it's the draft, whatever it is, spring training to the playoffs. It's year-round. It's always year-round, right? And you know what else is year-round? Collection season. The IRS will never stop coming after you. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean that they won't stop chasing you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages. The IRS can levy your bank accounts. The IRS can even seize your property, or mine for that matter. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience, A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season, now we're talking. You need help correctly filing? Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. 1-800-549-1000, tnusa.com/lockedon for Tax Network USA. Protecting you this tax season. All right, I've done that in my life. Don't feel bad. We've had some back taxes over the years, right? I mean, we've all had it. It happens. Just make sure you get that squared away with Tax Network USA right now. And another thing, this is a public service announcement from Jim Grieshaber and the good folks at Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 live streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. That's right, Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, and of course, our national shows covering every league, almost every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app, and you will be addicted just like I am. It's Locked On Sports Today on the free Fire TV channels app. And one more time before we get on out of here, I want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen. Every day we're free, available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as here on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I'm all proud of myself for that. Looking in the camera. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Locked On Marlins Postcast, wrapping it up. Let's see what we missed before we get you ready for the next series against the Nats in D.C. Yep, J.D. Martinez getting the water bath on the field tonight. 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th inning for the 36-year-old to give the Mets a 3-2 win over the Marlins and a 2-1 series win. Martinez goes the opposite field, right center with the shot. And, yeah, his first career walk-off home run in 321 career dingers, right? 1 out, drive off Tanner Scott, makes Edwin Diaz the winner in his return from the injured list. Appropriately for him, he went on the injured list after getting crushed by the Marlins. He comes off the injured list and looked like his old self again in this game to get the win. He threw 15 pitches, 98.5 miles an hour on his 7 four-seam fastballs. That was the average. 6 walk-off win for the Mets this year. They've won 8 out of 12. Scott goes to 5-5. He hadn't allowed a run since April 16th. I mean, it happens, right? And the slider was, it was coming toward the plate, but it was low. It didn't even make it over the outside part of the plate, and it did not make it to the knee. It dropped below the knees. It was probably this far below the knees and about that wide off the dish. One of those pitches that you might even nibble, and it's a throwaway, but Martinez was looking for it. He just dove right into it and smashed it the opposite field. Again, almost 2 months since Scott had allowed a run. Francisco Lindor drew a leadoff walk in the 9th. Brandon Nimmo struck out. Lindor still second. And then Martinez, 14-year career, first game-ending homer. He's a 6-time All-Star. And, yeah, unbelievable, right? So he's got 6 homers his first season with New York. The Mets win for the 8th time in 12 games. Munoz, no-hitter until Harrison Bader singles with 1 out in the 6th. Marte grounds into a double play with the bases loaded in the 7th. And that scores a run. Again, they had bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th. Only scored 1, and everything was just set up perfectly for the Marlins to win this game. Berger with a solo homer, Chisholm with a solo homer off Severino and Smith in the 6th and 7th innings. And the Marlins now lose. They're the National League worst team. They lose for the 2nd time in 18 games They lost for the 2nd time in 18 games when leading after 8 innings. 5th career start for Munoz, 1 hit in 6 innings. I said it was his 4th. It was his 5th. He struck out 5, walked 1, only 3 base runners in an 81-pitch outing for him. Severino, 1 run, 7 hits, 6 innings. What else is going on here? Nothing from the trainer's room from Miami. Miami is going to start Max Meyer in their next game against Washington tomorrow night. That first pitch should be, let's see where we at with that one. That one is first pitch of that game. I know we're running a little bit late here. First pitch, we'll be here tomorrow night. So I think it'll be, let me see, where's that first pitch? We'll get it to you before we go. So first pitch is against the Mets tomorrow night. Oh, there it is, 7:10. Yeah, 7:10. That's what it looks like. So anyway, Max Meyer, you know he's the number 3 overall draft pick. You know he's one of the top prospects in baseball. You also know he had the Tommy John surgery. You know what I'm saying? But this dude right here is, he's 2-0 with a 2.12 and 14 strikeouts. And you look at what he's done this year. His last start on April 13th against Atlanta, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, and 7 strikeouts. St. Louis before that, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run for Max Meyer. Now, that's what I'm seeing. He's going to be the guy who starts for the Marlins tomorrow night. And keep coming back for actually Locked On Marlins with Peter to see and to get more information on that. But his whip is 0.82, and 2-0 with a 2.12. He's got the New York City ERA, 2.12, baby. And Max Meyer will get the ball, I think, for the Marlins tomorrow night. That's going to do it, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Thursday night. 3-2, the Mets. J.D. Martinez with a 2-run shot off Tanner Scott to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. Marlins fall to 23-45, 11-20 on the road. The Mets are 30-37 and 15-23 at home. Again, the Marlins headed to Washington, D.C. to take on the Nationals in the opener of a 3-game series over the weekend in the nation's capital, and it'll be Myers on the hill for Miami to open up that series. Until then, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_, GRIES on social media, reminding you to always thank yourself for me. Pat yourself on the back for being here and watching us with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Thanks to the sponsors as well. And I want to remind you to keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. We are out.